Welcome, everyone. On behalf of the entire congregation, I welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Shenandoah Valley. I am Alice Lees, your worship associate for today's service. We gather together with our doubts as well as our convictions, with our fears and our hopes, with our failures and our aspirations, with our sorrows and our joys. Whether you are joining us today for the first time, or you've been a member or friend for many years, we are glad you are here. Whatever faiths you have known, if any, whatever your background, whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived here, you are welcome. Our lay-led speaker today is Congregant Lori Crockett. Lori, a member of our UU Church for 2 years, graduated from Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond, Virginia in 1992 with a master's in education and university honors. She has 2 grown daughters, 3 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren, all of whom live in the Richmond area. She is widowed and moved to Winchester in 2018 and soon after started attending our church. She is an avid gardener, a bookworm, and a retired teacher of high school English, having taught for 20 years in the Chesterfield County school system. She loves her family and friends, nature and animals, and walking with her new friends in the area. Now, let us prepare to enter our time together.
Good morning and welcome. My opening words are, until one has loved an animal, a part of one's soul remains unawakened.
Now, as Robert lights the chalice, let us all say together aloud from our homes the words for lighting our virtual chalice. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, to share. And I invite you to join me as we say our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help our neighbor. To these ends, we covenant one with another. Please join me in a moment of silence to hold in our hearts all the people of the world affected by the pandemic and racial injustice who are struggling, suffering, and grieving. Blessed be.
Today's words for reflection are from a blessing from John Donahue, from his book, To Bless the Space Between Us. To learn from animal being. Near to the earth's heart, deeper within its silence, animals know this world in a way we never will. We who are ever distanced and distracted by the parade of bright windows, thought opens. Their seamless presence is not fractured thus. Stranded between time gone and time emerging, we manage seldom to be where we are, whereas they are always looking out from the here and now. May we learn to return and rest in the beauty of animal being, learn to lean low, leave our locked minds, and with freed senses feel the earth breathing with us. May we enter into the lightness of spirit and slip into the feel of the wild. Let the clear silence of our animal being cleanse our hearts of corrosive words. May we learn to walk upon the earth with all their confidence and clear-eyed stillness, so that our minds might be baptized in the name of the wind and the light and the rain.
All creatures of the earth and sky, come, kindred, lift your voices high. Hallelujah, hallelujah, bright burning sun with golden beam, star shining moon with silver gleam. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Swift rushing winds so wild and strong, white clouds that sail in heaven along. Hallelujah, hallelujah, fair rising morning praise rejoice. My stars of evening find a voice. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Flowing water pure and clear, make music for all life to hear. Hallelujah, hallelujah, dance flame of fire so strong and bright, and bless us with your warmth and light. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Today, we are celebrating a day known throughout many parts of the world as the feast day of St. Francis. It's officially recognized on October 4th, and as this is the closest Sunday to that date, we're taking the time today to have our own service to bless the animals. Yours, mine, and those living in and all parts of our wondrous planet. Those that live in the air, in the soil, in the trees, on the earth, and in the sea. Let us acknowledge and express appreciation and gratitude for all those that are cared for, those that are wild and free, and those that are confined, imprisoned, and abused. Almost every culture has particular animals that are revered and treated as sacred or special. Animals have been our constant companions throughout history, both in work and in play and in our spiritual lives. I believe animals are the force behind our survival on this planet. I would like to take a few minutes to focus on each of the following words in relation to all the creatures living on our planet. Words that came to me as I first thought about what I might say in my talk about animals. The words are appreciation, awe, ahimsa, compassion, and gratitude. But first, a brief history of the day. It is a day people from many cultures perform a religious ceremony or service called the blessing of the animals. It is often said that it came from the time of St. Francis. Whether this is true or not, it has definitely been inspired by St. Francis's poetic verse, the Canticle of the Animals. Both the hymn and the song you will hear during our service today are taken from that wonderful piece of literature. In Christian tradition, a blessing of the animal service is usually held in memory of St. Francis, who is known as the patron of animals and nature. St. Francis said, "The animals of God's creation inhabit the skies, the earth, the sea, and have a part in human life. We therefore invoke blessings on these animals and over all the creatures of the earth." St. Francis is portrayed as someone who loved all creation, animals and plants, humanity, rocks, wind, and the entire universe. In the canticle, he spoke to Brother Sun and Sister Moon. In the message from the Pope on Earth Day 2020, St. Francis is described as inspiring our present-day ideas of an ecological consciousness and a spiritual and mystical vision of all creatures. It is said that his ideas came to him through prayer and interaction with people, animals, and all of nature. In Jewish tradition, a blessing of the animals is usually observed after the High Holy Days in early October, when the Torah portion, the Parshat Noach, about Noah and the ark is studied. The animals are central to this story myth of our early time on earth. The blessing of the animals has also morphed into what is often called World Animal Day in many cultures and countries. It is recognized as a day to show appreciation and gratitude for your animal companions, for service animals, and animals everywhere that contribute to our lives in so many ways. It is an internationally recognized day that tries to bring awareness of the world's need to create a fair place for all living creatures in the world. According to worldanimalday.org, the mission of this day is to raise the status of an animal to improve animal standards around the globe. October 4th was chosen since it is already so well known as the Feast of St. Francis, already dedicated to animals. World Animal Day was first held in 1929 and has been officially observed every year since 1931. In 2020, many countries took part in World Animal Day by organizing events such as taking shelter dogs out for walks, creating awareness of endangered species, organizing Facebook campaigns, creating vaccination camps, providing support to animal welfare organizations, starting cage-free campaigns, organizing contests, etc. Now let's go back to the words I mentioned earlier: appreciation, awe, ahimsa, compassion, and gratitude. I want to relate each of these words to our own responsibilities and joys in caring for the creatures of this earth. The first word is appreciation. Penny Whitehouse, founder of the website mothernatured.com, has many ideas as to how we can appreciate our animals and those throughout the world on Animal Day and every day. Here are a few in her words. Take them for a walk. If your pet is mobile, take them for a walk. Most dogs and some cats and guinea pigs love going for a little stroll outside. You may not be able to take some pets for a walk though, so give their enclosures some new furnishings instead. Give them enrichment. In a wildlife park, we regularly, she says, stimulate our animals to keep them from getting bored, scattering their food, placing different smells around the enclosure, and more. Play with them. Play with your pet. Brush their hair, or just let them sit in your lap. Give them a present. It's World Animal Day, after all. Why not pamper them? A new bed, a new toy, or a special treat. The next word I want to talk about is awe. Who has not felt awe when seeing geese fly overhead, or when seeing a hummingbird visit a flower? How about when seeing a mother cat nurse her kittens, or a dolphin jump in the ocean? This one is easy, isn't it? I would like to share the words of naturalist Henry Beston in his book, The Outermost House, A Year on the Life of the Great Beach of Cape Cod, words that so beautifully describe the phenomenon of awe. We need another and wiser and perhaps a more mystical concept of animals. Remote from universal nature and living by complicated artifice, man in civilization surveys the creatures through the glass of his knowledge and sees thereby a feather magnified and the whole image in distortion. We patronize them for their incompleteness, their tragic fate for having taken form so far below us, and therein do we err. For the animal shall not be measured by man. In a world older and more complete than ours, they move, finished and completed, gifted with the extension of the senses we have lost or never attained. living by voices we shall never hear. They are not brethren, they are not underlings, they are other nations, caught with ourselves in the net of life and time, fellow prisoners of the splendor and travail of the earth. The third word I want to discuss is ahimsa. It is a concept in the religions of Buddhism, Jainism, and Hinduism that focuses on having respect for and doing no harm to any living creature. It is defined as respect for all living creatures and avoidance of violence toward others. Wordfinder.com says ahimsa is a doctrine of nonviolence and a religious philosophy, including that all life, including animals, is sacred. This word can easily be restated as do no harm and is embodied in a movement started in the 1960s to focus on animal rights. An article for Michigan State University Extension by Melissa Elisher, September 6, 2019, updated from an original article by Tina Conklin, explains that the 5 freedoms of animals have been the basis of animal welfare since the 1960s. These 5 freedoms are globally recognized in animal welfare, encompassing both the physical and mental well-being of animals. They include 1. Freedom from hunger and thirst. 2. Freedom from discomfort. 3. Freedom from pain and injury and disease. 4. Freedom to express normal and natural behavior, for example, accommodating for a chicken's instinct to roost. And 5. Freedom from fear and distress. The need for this code of ethics is clear. In a harsh condemnation of how our world treats animals, a review of Jody Emmel's book, Animal Geographies, explains, each year, billions of animals are poisoned, dissected, displaced, killed for consumption, or held in captivity, usually for the benefit of humans. The animal world has never been under greater peril. On a more personal level, the Animal Humane Society, focusing more on our pets, gives details for each of the freedoms as applied to all animals in our care. 1. Freedom from hunger and thirst. By ready access to fresh water and diet to maintain health and vigor. This must be specific to the animal. For example, puppies, adult dogs, pregnant cats, and senior cats all need different types of food provided on a different schedule. 2. Freedom from discomfort by providing an appropriate environment, including shelter and a comfortable resting area. This means you should provide soft bedding and an area with appropriate temperature, noise levels, and access to natural light. If an animal is outside, it must have shelter from the elements, as well as appropriate food and water bowls that will not freeze or tip over. 3. Freedom from pain, injury, or disease by prevention and rapid diagnosis and treatment. This includes vaccinating animals, monitoring animals, physical health, treating any injuries, and providing appropriate medications. 4. Freedom to express normal behavior by providing sufficient space, proper facilities, and company of the animal's own kind. Animals need to be able to interact with or avoid others of their own kind as desired. They must be able to stretch every part of their body from nose to tail and run, jump, and play. This can be particularly challenging when animals are housed in individual kennels. And 5, freedom from fear and distress. By ensuring conditions and treatments which avoid mental suffering, the mental health of an animal is just as important as its physical health, as psychological stress can quickly transition into physical illness. These conditions can be achieved by preventing overcrowding and providing sufficient enrichment and safe hiding places. The next word is compassion. As Dionne Warwick sang, "What the world needs now is love, sweet love," I think also, coming in a close second, is compassion. Jane Goodall, who needs no introduction, said, "We're capable of love and compassion for each other. Let us also show love and compassion for the animals who are with us on this planet. Let us all live in peace and harmony together." And Albert Schweitzer, winner of the 1952 Nobel Peace Prize, said, "Until we extend our circle of compassion to all living beings, humanity will not find peace." And Mason Cooley states, "Compassion brings us to a stop, and for a moment we rise above ourselves." Here are a few ways you can show love and compassion for your animals. Donate your time, money, and energy when you can to animal care and animal rights organizations. 2, volunteer with community groups, youth groups, animal welfare, and animal rescue organizations. Groom, exercise, shelter, care for, and play with your pets. Help to educate others, online or offline, in workshops, seminars, or campaigns. Replace products that exploit, use, or experiment on animals with products that do no harm. Take your beloved pets to the vet for their regular checkup at least twice a year. Adopt or rescue a pet if you can. Here is a question taken from lifehack.org. Did you know that having compassion for others improves your health? If you're a pet owner or an animal lover, you'll be pleased to learn that this includes showing kindness to your furry, feathered, and scaled friends. Just by petting your dogs and cats and being kind to creatures in the wild, you enhance your mental and physical health, lower anxiety and depression, recover from illnesses more quickly, and increase your lifespan. As we all know, compassion improves well-being, boosts physical health, increases vitality and longevity, and makes us feel good. Playing and laughing with your dogs and cats can help boost your immune system and increase your day-to-day energy levels. According to Mao Xin Ni, PhD, numerous studies have shown that helping pets lowers our stress levels, decreases our blood pressure, benefits our cholesterol, improves our mood, and boosts our immunity. In other words, lengthens our lifespan. The last word I want to talk about is gratitude. The Humane Society of the United States makes a statement about the welfare and value of animals all over the world and how we treat them. In their statement, we are asked to recognize the gifts and worthiness of every living being and are asked to remember that all life is precious. Let us take a moment to give thanks for our dearly loved animal companions and also to give thanks for all the living creatures all over the world. May we wish them all blessings of health and happiness, kindness and respect. May they be loved and cared for and allowed to live as blessed creatures on this earth. Thank you.
As Robert extinguishes the flame, let us say together from our homes the words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth. the warmth of our community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again.
From the Humane Society. May our animal friends have good health, happy lives, and always be protected and safe. We ask for better understanding as we learn from our animal friends, wisdom, their innocence, their loyalty, and particularly their seeming ability to not judge human beings unkindly. Thank you for the pleasures, the playfulness, and sometimes the surprising humor our pets display. Thank you for their companionships and friendship, especially for those lonely hours we may have experienced. Thank you for our companions' natural ability to teach us to be aware of the present moment. Thank you for the pure beauty of every animal. We all share a common responsibility for the well-being of one another. Let us all together wish for blessings on our animals, those in our homes and those throughout the world.
The purpose of the church is to encourage all who gather to grow more generous in spirit and in action. We hope you will consider making an offering after today's service through our webpage, uushenandoah.org, which allows us to exercise that generosity of spirit for this self-supporting church and its many ministries, which continue while we are not able to be physically together. And at noon, we hope that you will join our church community for the post-service Zoom gathering with joys and concerns, and with your pets. The Zoom link is found in your UUCSB email. We will then have any member and friend announcements and break into small groups for our coffee hour conversations. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, I'm Claudia Martin, and I was born in Bavaria and grew up on a farmhouse in a village. And this is the Bavarian flag, white and blue like the sky in the Alpine country. Sing yodels with me. Well, that was it. He didn't do his best. Okay, this was Bavarian Yodels.